Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Factory Town here on Not Your Professional Walkthroughs channel with me, your host, Max. So, after the first episode, which aired quite a while back, I have been playing the game in my spare time in order to understand certain things because I'm still confused about certain features of the game. Do not get me wrong, the game can be a lot of fun, but unfortunately, understanding certain basic mechanics will take me some time. But I'm hoping that with the added experience, I will now be able to experience the game maybe a bit better. Now, in order to prove that, I'm gonna show you a save file which I did. Don't worry, it's not gonna be anything groundbreaking, which I did for a couple of hours, and there I was able to start work with certain elevations or some logistical systems, and we're gonna see what you think about it. So as you can clearly see, the resources that are being dropped off, we do have a sort of a primitive train system for iron, and for our farming I was able to start getting those harder to obtain delivery systems in. And obviously, as time went on, I was able to get quite a lot of stuff, including unlocking the territory which is on the map. Now, I still have zero idea what some of these crystals do, like for example, mana shards, earth stones, or gold, or airstone, or whatever else is there available here. So we're gonna play around with this, and we're gonna hopefully have some fun. So we're gonna take a look at the second campaign scenario, and we're gonna see, or the third one, sorry, and we're gonna see how much of a luck will I have. And in case this will be too long, I will probably separate it into like multiple parts. So let's take a look at it and let's see what awaits us here. So right from the start, we see that we do have access to certain things which we previously did not have access to, such as a fishing boat which is able to supply us with fish. However, providing the individual houses with the necessary resources is not as sufficient. It's far better for you to actually construct a food market, build it somewhere within the vicinity of your town, and use that as a delivery to the houses so that your people can actually work on obtaining other resources. Now, we will have multiple goals. We will need to reach a certain tech level. We will need to research fishery, for which we will require these nature research points. We will require a mine. That's a new one. I'm not even sure what we require for that. Maybe industry research points. Then metal railings. Then metal conveyor belts. Fish stew, which we will require a kitchen for. Wooden rails, and cloth conveyor belt. So there is already quite a lot of stuff that we need to access. And what do we need exactly for the food market? I still prefer to go through the menu because it shows me the necessary resources that I need to obtain, such as stone. So we're gonna have to dedicate some workforce in order to bring us stone. So that's gonna take a while in order for us to get there. But we can theoretically spend a bunch of workers, and once we are done with them, we can redistribute them amongst other projects, or we can just simply delete them in order to reduce the overall quantity. Now, we can still build one additional house, which will give us even more workforce so that we have additional people to help us out. There is some iron, there is some coal, there is stone, carrots, sugarcane, grain, there is cotton, pears, apples, grapes, grain, lots of wood. Okay, tomatoes on this single island are quite plentiful. That's interesting. But if we're gonna try to build some sort of system to get across to other mainland, that might be a bit interesting. So I'm dying to see how this is going to work out for us. Okay, so we have only a small quantity of wood, but we do have planks, and those planks are gonna be necessary in order to function. So once we actually do have the food market, we're gonna switch things out and we're gonna start to take the stuff directly over here, and by doing so, we're gonna actually ensure a couple of things. So by supplying the food market directly, all the houses connected by road to the food market within this circle are going to be actually supplied. So we can even establish that one additional house here, and that's going to allow us to supply more people with more various provisions. Based on what we supply, we can provide specific experience or happiness points. So for example, now, because we provide raw fish and not cooked fish, we only can get 2 gold and 2 experience points out of it. If we would cook it, we would get 4 yellow coins, 5 experience, and even more happiness. And so you can see that by actually making these artisanal items, we are able to achieve far greater good. Now we're going to need to actually expand a couple of these things which we will want to do, such as paper and such. So we're going to need to make sure that we can provide water. And we're going to need to establish a school so that we can supply it with the paper so that we can run research, because we're gonna require research points in order to gain access to all these cool things. As you can see, just for the kitchen we will require 200 coins and 200 research alone, and by just delivering paper we would be forced to drop off 200 pieces of paper alone. If we would be able to establish a book production, we would be able to become a bit more productive. So let's take a look at it. And let's start to do this sort of basic supply. I've been experimenting with the chutes, and I'm starting to understand that it seems like only raw resources, such as wooden logs, stone, or whatever it is that you gather, can be dropped off. But if you would try to, for example, carry the planks or the paper specifically by chutes from here to the school, it will not be able to do so. It just keeps giving me this sort of weird error, and I'm never able to process this. So I don't know if that's true or if that's just my observation, but if we would get to the basic wooden conveyor belts, we should be able to start delivering the processed goods and change things around. So we're gonna see how that's gonna evolve, and hopefully it's gonna work out for us. Okay, so we have here 4 people. That's far too much for the stone processing or gathering. We have 110 stone, so that's far too much. We're gonna require a reserve of wood just over here as well, due to the fact that we will require the basic wood as a construction resource as well. We can take the apples. Apples are gonna help us out as well in order to increase the overall happiness. It's just gonna be a slight boost, but for the start of the game, anything is better if you can keep on increasing your overall population and everything. So there's that, and now we're gonna have to take a look at what else do we need. We're gonna probably require a workshop, but I just don't think that this is going to work. Maybe the school will have to be allocated a bit differently. So let's do that. If we demolish the building, we should get the resources back, so I'm not that worried. Although at least I hope that is the case. And I would love it if we can actually build the workshop right next door. So here we're gonna start processing certain stuff. We're gonna require wooden wheels. We're gonna require, for example, planks or wood just for the wooden conveyor belts. So we're gonna already have to deliver that. We're gonna require cotton for cloth, and then we can combine the paper with the cloth in order to create books so that we get 10 science points instead of just simply 1. We're gonna drop off, hold on, we're gonna need the paper, and we're gonna drop it off over here. Why are you giving me this sort of weird issue with delivering a paper? What is up with you? Is it because we did not set up the processing for the books? Let's do cloth, let's do books, and let's do also wooden wheels. Because you keep gradually escalating the processing or the delivery system from humans to basic carts to some sort of chute system or conveyor belts, or to eventually those massive carts or even trains. So it will depend. But now that we have at least this established, this should be able to provide us with what we need in order to gain, however, access to... this is gonna be annoying. Maybe if I would be able to set up, because the carts, such as these ones, cannot really gather raw ingredients. You need to actually grab a person and drop off the ingredients into like a drop-off box. So there's, for example, this crate. So if we were to build this crate over here, and we would have these two guys to drop off the cotton over here, then the cart, once we collect the wooden wheels, we'll be able to actually start delivering what we do require. Okay, how many planks do we have, and can we increase the number of people working here? We're gonna have to switch things around. Okay, so let's do this. Let's drop off the planks in here too, because we're gonna require all sorts of goodies. So you can already start to see how these sort of high concentration spots start to create just around one building. Just this workshop alone will be a bunch of trouble for us, as we will require steady inflow of resources in order to keep the production running nice and smoothly. I still think we are gonna require to construct the damn crate, and I'm gonna build it like so. We're gonna extend the path. Over here, the path actually consumes wood. We're gonna start gathering the cotton. And once we are able to collect the first set of wheels, which can be dropped off over here. Sure, the wheels can be also sold to a, what is it called? General store, which generates these red coins. That is awesome. However, if you drop it off over there, you cannot really use that resource as a potential constructional resource, and therefore you are, well, ruining your opportunity to supply yourself a bit more proficiently. So we can already see that the paper is fully supplied. We're gonna need to switch this out. We're gonna probably have to drop off this paper at the school for now. Did you drop it off? And now we're gonna go and chop down this and drop it off over here so that we have steady access to resources. So wood is fine, but planks aren't good. We're gonna need to do something with the overall production of stuff here as well. Unfortunately, until we gain access to something like the forester, that's awesome. So we have access to that. However, this house is obstructing me, so I'm gonna have to actually remove it and build it somewhere where it won't do just that. And I hate the fact that I cannot allocate these houses the way I want to. Not a huge fan when the game dictates where and what needs to be placed. So since we have the possibility to build actually this over here, I'm gonna theoretically, we can delete this path and we can say no to these guys, so they're gonna have to step aside, and we're gonna take the forester and build him over here. And from this place where we can theoretically, like, we cannot delete multiple people at the same time, or we can actually. Okay, so never mind that. So I press delete. Now that removes them from the map. We don't have sleeping beauties here just sitting, and now we can actually use the chutes in order to deliver the raw wood into the building, and we can increase the output of how much wood is gonna be delivered. And this is gonna create a steady supply of planks, which are already being redistributed all over the damn place. So we need them for construction, we need them over here for production of stuff. We're gonna require another cart to probably drop off or take the wooden conveyor belts, and I'm gonna actually drop them off over here because before they are delivered, you do not really see them in your inventory overall. And once that is done, it should pop up somewhere in here, so we should have access to building them. And because we have access to them, I can delete this weird path behind here. Hold on, I cut off the school, and we're gonna be able to then start constructing the wooden conveyor belt. And the wooden conveyor belt should allow me to take the book and drop it off over here. At least I hope so, or I'm gonna be super pissed. So now that we have this, we're gonna need to start processing stuff. Cloth and yeah, okay, so is the cotton being picked off or not at all? Oh yeah, one more thing. Do not build a passage which is only like one tile wide, or you are gonna run into a whole bunch of trouble. Like seriously, you can already see that this is gonna cause a bunch of problems, and that is not good. So I'm actually thinking, in order to widen this space, I'm gonna have to delete this building. I'm gonna have to delete a couple more of these, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna remove. We're gonna build the wooden mill. Let's build it over here, and let's therefore extend this road. So that's 2 tiles wide, so that we don't have these sort of bottleneck situations. We're gonna construct it over here, and now we're gonna have to resume the construction of everything. So we're gonna even start increasing or start producing the production of our fluid pipes so that we can deliver water to certain locations. And now the question is if we can actually start delivering the planks from this structure to this structure. So what I want to do is start making the first potential drop off. Hold on, I kind of misclicked. No, wooden rail is not gonna be useful here. Wooden conveyor belt, yes please. And we're gonna go with the planks, and once they are done, they're gonna be dropped off. We're gonna increase the number of workers here. We're gonna increase the number of workers here because we can still do that. We are at 27 out of 28. Not the most optimal, but now we do have access to a couple of things. And theoretically, if I really want to screw with it so that these two do not have to actually manually deliver everything over here, what I can actually do is use still the chute and drop off this over here. And if we have access to the logistics, we can do a splitter. So one is gonna go forward, one is gonna go over here. And this way we have actually delivery of both wood and both planks. The biggest issue is right now this is a dead space because nobody is gonna be capable of accessing it. So unless we do something with that, we're gonna be royally screwed. But hopefully we're gonna be able to fix this. Now the linen is not being taken, or the cloth. So once they receive the cloth, it should be able to be processed. Are you making paper? You should be making paper. But how did we manage to... Yeah, so we are gonna have to keep a steady income of these things. Hold on. We can theoretically, in order to not have to do this manually, take the wooden pipes, and because we have a well, we can utilize the underwater system of delivering water to this spot over here. Unfortunately, we just simply do not have enough of the wooden pipes as of yet in our infrastructure or in our overall reserves. This one guy has got us to 169 stones, so that's awesome. What else is there that we can theoretically think of? We do need access to a couple of more things. Do have quite a lot of wheels, which is awesome. Here it would be awesome if we can get a farm or some grain processing building so that we can actually make flour instead of grain, because if we switch out the grain for flour, we get 4 times the money, 4 times the experience, and just 1 happiness. So it's not gonna really affect this, but the amount of experience which we gather is gonna dramatically increase. So this is supplying us with wood, which is fine. We aren't just able to get a steady supply of the other resources as of yet. Okay. How about now? Are we able to... How much are we missing? Yeah, still needs a couple of more pipes in order to deliver the water. But if we're gonna be successful, we need 6 more pipes. And I'm not really sure where we are when it comes to this. If we're going to be able to pull it off, we're going to be then able to remove the 2 people who were supplying resources or water to one of these structures. So if we have steady income of water, if we have steady income of planks or everything else, we should be a-okay. So already you can see that playing this game a few times will help you tremendously to improve. Yeah, one more time, and here we go. So now we have water build up, so paper is not gonna be an issue. And if we want to add in another source of resource that can be dropped off, we simply need to put in the other wooden conveyor belts. This one will have to be filtered for paper, and once that is in, paper is gonna start to flow in. Hold on, I kind of... Whoa, what is up? What's happening? Why can I... Okay, now I can. That was weird. So now we have the production of books, which can be established. And the books are going to be dropped off automatically at the school, so that these 2 guys, this person, and this person standing over here can be deleted. So there goes that. We have successfully removed a couple of people, and we have increased the overall efficiency of at least this small production line. It's obviously not the best production line in the world, but with the limited resources at hand, it's far better than what we used to have. Okay, we're gonna take the fish, and we somehow stopped getting the fish. Don't ask me how. I might have taken one of the people and try to allocate them to another object or project or whatever. So that's a-okay. The books are gonna keep producing science. We do have a person who is not doing anything, and now we can run a research. We can do civics, so that's gonna increase the house capacity, giving us more houses to construct and also more people then to have as a potential workforce. And that is of course our goal here. There's gonna be an unfortunate passage here. We aren't even able to build this, which is gonna cause a couple of issues. And because the houses are badly rotated, they would not be able to get into the supply chain, so we're gonna instead turn them outwards to actually get connected to the path, and that way they actually can be supplied with the provisions that they will require, because everything is within the range of our lovely thing. Okay, theoretically speaking, what we can do is actually remove this person, and since we have the resources, we can take a wagon and we can actually pick up more of the fish and drop it off like this, because the cart can actually take 4 pieces of resource at a time in comparison to your person who is only able to carry 1 thing at a time. Fluid pipes, we should have access to wood. But considering the fact that we're making planks and everything else, yeah, I can understand how that can affect things. So, a large chunk of everything is being consumed. We do have a nice supply of wheels for now, so I'm actually thinking once we reach 40 in our inventory, we're gonna stop and we're gonna instead create the supply market, which is gonna be able to actually provide the provisions to the people as the wheel, and that is gonna allow us to start making red coins and also increase our happiness too. Thanks to the fact that we did upgrade the population even more, we are able to build the more houses, we are able to get more workers, so things are gradually building up. So there we see another progress. We have someone who is not participating in anything, and I do wonder why is that. And what can we theoretically apply this person towards? We need a couple of buildings, actually. We need a couple of things. Stonemason being one of them. If we were to make this a successful building, I suggest it to be as close to the stone deposit as it can be. So we can drop off this, and we can take this and drop it off over here. So theoretically, once we start making the stone bricks, we're gonna be fine. Question is if just one person is enough to supply the structure with the resources, because we require 3 stone per 1 stone brick. So this is not, as of yet, the most efficient way to produce stone bricks, and stone bricks can be also supplied to the store in order to actually make it that they are sold as provisions. Okay, once you deliver the wheel, we are gonna take you off that job, and I want to see if we can actually allocate the general store over here, and I want to expand this road, and we are gonna start taking more of the carts into consideration, but right now we do not have access to any planks that would allow us the luxury of constructing them. So our plank resource has run dry. Our current plank production is just working on supplying the workshop. So theoretically, having another set of these 2 buildings would be most optimal. The problem is where we would to build that, because as you can see, it's a bit more difficult than initially expected. And wooden planks can be supplied over here. We have actually a separation in the happiness department. One is regarding the clothing. It generates the red coins, and then we have the tools, or just the iron or the planks or stone bricks, which can be provided as well for the addition of the red coins, additional happiness, and the more things you provide, the better it is. I still don't think it's advisable for you to provide the raw ingredient. It's probably far better for you to go for the processed goods. But you can see that already we have added this one resource, which is the wooden wheel. We have 65 in stock, so whatever is now being produced, that's not gonna affect us. We have only 28 out of 36 workers. So theoretically, if we would to build a forester, if we would have the damn planks, we would be able to do this. So what I want to do is build a lumber mill. And we're going to use this lumber mill just for the pure production of the planks, so that we have a provision of these just for the constructional purposes. If we connect this building like so, it's now connected to the overall grid. If we can increase the output, that's going to help us out too. And we are going to require people in order to carry these planks right now to our overall reserve. You can theoretically utilize a barn to drop off resources if your construction or your logistics are just too damn off, or too far away from like your city center, or you have like this small grid where you just utilize production. But okay, we are getting closer. The fish stew is gonna be metal conveyor belts. These are gonna be kind of hard to come by. Harvest various ores and minerals from nearby terrain. Okay, fishery, that's gonna be funky to do. We do have access to research. We can do animal pastures. Animal pastures are awesome because they create a bunch of stuff, from fertilizer to eggs to chicken to wool to cheese or milk to whatever else. So lots of great stuff. We can theoretically even do a coin booster. You can see that boat building, for example, we do not have access to it. But we already do have a boat which provides us with ship. So if I would delete that initial ship, that would be just a horrible mistake. Kitchen is crucial because this is where we're gonna get our fish stew, We're gonna require, however, tomatoes, butter, and cooked fish. So we're gonna require a barn or the animal pasture in order to provide us with milk. Then we're gonna have to turn that milk into butter inside of the kitchen. And then we're gonna require tomatoes, and tomatoes, well, theoretically, if we were to build a farm, you should not have to actually go ahead and construct the bridge across in order to get to the tomatoes. If you do have access to yellow coins, what should theoretically be doable is the potential for you to construct a farm. So just for example, here in the vicinity of all this grain, so if I would build it like here, it should be doable. But what we can still do is actually, there should be a potential for this. I just need to find it. It's in the farming and mining. If you go like this and you see plant tomato, what you can do is actually go ahead and plant tomatoes so that now your farm can actually output two separate resources. It can process both the grain, and eventually, once the tomatoes reach their maturity, it can also provide you with the tomatoes. But unfortunately, I have spent most of my money on planting this. So before we get access to this, it's gonna take a while. We're gonna need to construct a long road in order for us to reach our destination. Theoretically, do we have access to the stone bricks so that we can start processing this at a faster rate? The more upgraded the road, the faster everyone travels. So it's actually not just for show. It actually helps you increase the pace at which people run around across here. So this is already something awesome. We're gonna need to increase the amount of people who are capable of working here, and we're gonna have to supply water and fertilizer in order to help also keep the pace of this up. Now what I would love to do is to build this, and if we can actually, theoretically, if we would be able to not rely on this grain over here, but we would be able to put down like a where is it? Farm from farm. Food mill. Food mill is a construction or a building which is capable of transferring or turning raw grain into animal feed and also into the what do we call it? The flour. So this is gonna be capable of processing a couple of things. Flour and animal feed, both will require just grain. And the cool thing is that just the chute alone should be sufficient in order to process or deliver the grain, because it's a raw ingredient. Raw ingredient can be delivered across this. And so now we have to just make sure that water is supplied and so that fertilizer is supplied. For fertilizer, we're gonna, however, require the building which we don't have access to, and that is the animal pasture, for which we don't have enough money. Son of a gun. So we can do theoretically wooden rails, because that's just gonna cost us 200 of the red points, or we can do intermediate logistics, which would give us access to blocker, filter, merger, priority sorter, and all sorts of other cool stuff. I'm thinking I'm gonna hold on to the science points, however, for now, just for the hell of it. And if we would be able to build the pasture. Yeah, I still don't have the money for it, right? We need 150. So theoretically, I can take this and drop it off at the food market. This is gonna help us out greatly. I'm gonna then stop the processing of the raw grain over here, and because we're gonna start to deliver flour instead of actually the raw grain, we're gonna have that much more boost. So we're gonna gain more money, more happiness, and more experience. Well, happiness not really, but experience. And once we are gonna have kitchen, we then can make it into bread and triple the profit. Not quadruple, quintuple. What is times 5? You gotta let me know. And the happiness is still just one, but definitely supplying bread is gonna be much more proficient for our needs. And now I do wonder if we can actually construct the damn cart here and not actually utilize these guys in order to drop off the raw resource. We can upgrade our town center. We can delete this dude. We can pick up the planks and drop them off over here. So that we do this at a much faster pace. I want to construct the cobble path. I want to give it 2 tiles so that it's more thicker and efficient. This guy is working. We're gonna need more money. Theoretically, we can do additional housing. I'm not really sure what would happen if I were to delete this, but I definitely do know that I do want more people. And if we were to gather the grapes from here, we can then deliver them over here, or we can of course just simply drop them off at the crate. So what the hell was that? That was just weird. So that the grapes can be gathered by a cart or a wagon or whatever you want to call it, and it can be dropped off over here, giving us another resource. Now grapes can be then turned into like a berry juice, where you increase the overall value, you triple the profit, you increase the experience. The happiness is still the same, but you get the point. So we are gonna have to keep making additional housing in order to provide the necessary resources. Still a little pissed about the whole fact that I do not have like some sort of elevation tool which would allow me to make a house sit on a flat ground or something like that, or if I would want to just level down an entire hill. Even if it would require the work of your people, I still think having access to that tool would be amazing in this game, because it would create even more opportunities. So now that we have access to the tomatoes, you can see that they are safely stored in here. We do not provide any fertilizer or water as of yet, so we need to change a couple of things. The population almost was able to be upgraded, so we're gonna go and do that. That's gonna give us even more people and more housing. But what I want to build is actually a well, so that I do not have to deliver the freaking water through the pipes all the way from here, because that would be just pointless expense. So this one well is gonna be capable of supplying the water. You can see that it's slowly churning out water, so slowly it's gonna start to accumulate. That is gonna help us out here. And we're going to be able to get another one of these suckers. We're going to be able to hopefully build up another section of the road. And he's going to be able to pick up this and drop off the tomato, giving us another resource. Now, I'm making the tomatoes and stuff accessible right now because we are going to require these things. I'm not really sure if you can actually store these things inside of a barn. I haven't really tried it. Mostly when you play the game, you see things such as, I don't know, raw ingredients such as stone or wood being stored inside. So I haven't played around with it, but considering the fact that it's gonna help us, at least for now, to expand the happiness and stuff, it's working for me. Animal pasture can be finally afforded, and that's gonna be our game changer, because now we have animal feed, and now I can continue to build this supply chain over here. We can even upgrade the pasture, and we're gonna go with the milk, which we will require. So we will require animal feed and water. Water is okay because we can just simply divert a portion of the water to go through here. That is if we do have the damn pipes for it. I don't know if we keep producing fluid pipes anymore. Theoretically, we can make fluid pipes over here for now, just to get the bare minimum. And then we're gonna turn off the blueprint for it. So let's drop off this over there so that we can make them and supply this place with what they need. What else do we require? Fertilizer is good because we turn animal feed and water into fertilizer, and fertilizer can be then supplied back over here. So we can do like a conveyor belt, which is gonna bypass the food mill and is gonna attach itself to the farm, and therefore we're gonna have a small little supply chain over here established. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself right now. Okay, so where do we have those pipes? Do we have enough right now? We do. So this is still supplying the farm with the water. Now we do have it in the pasture. And now what we will require is the conveyor belt. Where do we have this? The wooden conveyor belt in order to provide the fertilizer or the animal feed, sorry. So now if we were to increase the number of people working here and the number of people working here eventually, that's gonna work out. And I still want to do the wooden conveyor belt and build it like so. And we are gonna have to put down the grabber. And we are gonna put in the, what is it? Animal feed fertilizer. Oh, and because it's wrongly rotated, it will not work. So now it's going to work. And now the fertilizer is slowly being delivered over to our farm. The grain is delivered to our food mill, which is producing the flour and the animal feed. And this building is now able to even further progress. We can upgrade it even more. And once we have access to water, once we have access to the animal feed, we're going to be able to start making things. I'm just afraid that we might run into some sort of bottlenecking issue because apparently only thing I see being processed is the goddamn fertilizer as of yet. So I don't know if additional building will be required or whatnot, but I certainly hope it will not be necessary. We have another research which can be done. We can do coin booster. Let's go with that because that way we're gonna gain access to more money, hopefully. At least I hope so. And I really don't see that much of a difference right now. But hopefully I'm just simply wrong. We're gonna see how it's gonna turn out. So the new houses are all supplied. There's general points of happiness. We have still 45 wheels, which we can work with, 135 planks, 51 wood, 78 stone brick, 72 stone. So that's all fine. So far, we aren't really blocked by anything. And we are gonna require a cart in order to start taking the milk. So we are gonna have to start considering constructing a kitchen somewhere. Kitchen is kind of annoying because you need to also provide fuel for it. And now that I think about it, I don't see any good source of fuel over here. Wood can be used, fertilizer can be used, but the best potential source of fuel is coal deposit as it stands. So what I would like to do here is consider building the kitchen. If I have access to it, I don't know if I researched it yet. Yeah, that's why? So we're gonna have to research kitchen, and we're gonna be able to store the milk there, and it's gonna be able to be turned into butter. So let's make you. We're gonna pick up the milk for now, so that we can keep a steady production of this resource. The fertilizer is just being delivered. We can even spend the money which we are processing in order to even further greatly enhance the amount of things which we are producing. I don't really think I need to deliver the tomatoes at higher rate to the food market. Do have berries, we do have apples, tomatoes, we do have some fish if it gets dropped off, we do have some flour if it gets dropped off, and we're gonna start to stop processing the pipes here. So there goes that. 14 out of 18. That would put us too far out of reach. These are just unfortunate buildings because I have to cram them in here. Not a huge fan of that, if I'm being honest. But I'm building them over here just due to the fact that this way they are within the reach of the market's influence and the general store, so that the happiness transcends. And you can see already they have 3 out of 7 happiness just due to the fact that they are so close by and everything is accessible to them. If I would build another housing, I would need to build my second town center, my second houses around it, and all these sorts of annoying things. So we're gonna see how this is gonna work out. We're gonna start storing milk, and once we have access to what we need, we're gonna change things around. This guy is sitting here, so we are gonna have to put him to good work. I'm thinking we're gonna actually start taking the tomatoes and dropping them off in here, just so that we have some sort of reserve before we are able to crack the kitchen open. And this is just iron. There is plenty of fish over here. That seems awesome. And we did research the potential to build ships, but they are still locked. So I don't know if there is like a building responsible for this. Stonemason, tailor, food mill, lumber mill, school, general store, food market. Theoretically, we can make a farm here with the cotton, and that should be able to do a couple of things for us. We'll be able to establish a farm ready to gather the cotton and supply the raw cotton to the store. I'm not really sure if it's cotton or if it's actually the linen that it requires. So maybe I would have to construct another workshop on its own. But okay, now I'm really interested. So if we would go with the second farm, and how can I build it so that it's most efficient, or so that everything is within the reach? I don't want to build it really on this sort of weird cliff over here. It's kind of freaking me out. I just don't know how it's gonna work with the... Yeah, you see, this is just not good. If I were to build a road like this, it's impossible. So I need to relocate this. I'm gonna have to delete these. Just portion of the cotton will not be processed, and just screw it. I'm not gonna freaking think of some sort of miracle way. And sacrificing 6 bushes, yeah, theoretically it would work. Theoretically it would work, so let's do that. Now question is if we can actually build already something a little bit funky. For this we require planks. So we can build an elevated platform. The problem is I'm not that far away for this to work. So theoretically I might have to delete this. And I don't know how it's going to respond to what I'm about to try and pull off here. But if you build the conveyor belt with 2 up to 3 tiles of a gap, you should be able theoretically to provide the provisions which you do need for the structure. And here we would be able to theoretically in an elevated form deliver the fertilizer. So what I want to do is actually build a conveyor belt, a wooden conveyor belt, and we are gonna build it. Yeah, it's gonna be able to like allow traffic to go underneath it, There are 2 tiles, so that's exactly what we do require, but we are kind of bottlenecking ourselves here. But we are going to be able to start descending, hopefully, down into the madness. That is my crazy mind. I'm not sure if this is gonna, however, work out, though. I'm afraid I might have to move these tiles even further down here. So just bear with me. This is a huge experiment. Yeah, I can already see this is not gonna work out. So we're gonna have to actually see if this can be moved down a bit more. Like here. So that there is the possibility for us to turn. So what if we were to do this? Then that means need to create this a bit higher. Still okay, still fine. We're using mostly planks for this, so this is why I wanted to have planks accessible. And now we're gonna be able to turn the wooden conveyor belts. Haha! Son of a biscuit. Okay. And now, theoretically, if we are gonna be able to make this attached to this building, that is what I do wonder. I might have to maybe move these structures a bit more so that I can elevate the conveyor belt even higher. It's optimal for you to consider going at least like 3 tiles above, so that eventually once you get access to the additional caravans or whatever, because they are higher, they will not be simply able to pass underneath. So that is why I'm actually considering moving this entire infrastructure 1 tile more, because that will allow me a couple of things. So let's do that quickly. It's gonna unfortunately delete all the stuff which we have inside, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but I did not expect for this to even work initially, so what the hell. This is gonna have to be cancelled. This is working perfectly fine. We're gonna have to go with the food mill over moi, and we're gonna have to build the pasture over here. So you are gonna have to start making the flour, the animal feed, and you are gonna do this and grab the animal feed. And because I forgot that it's a processed ingredient, I can go and suck my own something and just have to put down a wooden conveyor belt because reasons. It's really annoying, to be honest with you. So once this is done, we're gonna increase this. And theoretically, the wooden pipes should be still connected to the building, so we should be a-okay. And we are gonna have to return to the production of fertilizer and milk for now. We can do theoretically raw chicken, or we can do wool. So that we have like a mixture of stuff that is being processed in here. And then what I want to do is just demolish this portion. We're gonna have to reconnect the road. And I want to start elevating this as fast as possible. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And now I'm gonna have to change things maybe around here a bit. Fudge! Okay, but maybe eventually I'm gonna get this done. Maybe one of these days in a year close to this one. This is where most of your game time is going to be. I'm assuming just trying to dedicate how much time you're gonna have to dedicate. I do not know if this is gonna work out, this drop over here, but you see I have now created this larger gap and it's taller, so theoretically it should work. It should, but there's no guarantee. Okay, we're gonna require a grabber, and we're gonna require a splitter as well. Which makes me wonder if we would to do it like this, and we would take the fertilizer. It now should go here, and theoretically, do I need to build a splitter? Yeah, we cannot really do that. So what if I would instead delete this, build the conveyor belt so that it would extend, and then we would delete these two, and we would make it so that the wooden conveyor belt splits up and goes like this. I don't know if this is going to work. Might have to do this a bit further away. So let's do this. Let's do it like this, and then we can theoretically do this. Then we can go into the elevation system. And hopefully that would work. I really hope it's gonna work. Okay, and we're gonna do the logistics, and we're gonna put down the splitter over here. And I will have to adjust one thing, and that is this one conveyor. It needs to go like this, and this needs to grab the fertilizer. Wabam! Okay, surprise me, shock me, make me wonder if the things which I have been making for the past 2 hours were even worth it. And this is why I said maybe I will have to separate this. Ah, fudge. I'm gonna have to rebuild this entire portion. Oh man, why can't that just simply drop? I mean, I know it's fertilizer, but it's still not like refined fertilizer. It hopefully cannot be used into explosives as of yet. I mean, theoretically, it does have nitrites, so everything is possible, but what do I know? I'm not the MacGyver of YouTube. There are much smarter people for this. What about this way? Okay. And then we will have to do 1, 2, 1, 1. And man, this is gonna kill me. What if I will do this? This is where most of your time is gonna be. Trust me, trying to figure out is this madness going to work the way you want it to, or is it gonna blow up in your face, literally, in certain times? God, this is driving me crazy. I don't really want to extend it even here. That's just getting ridiculous, but I'm afraid I might have to. So let's delete these, and let's continue to build out in this general direction. And so that we can do this, and then we can do like this over here. So we can just continue it down through here. And it can go above the damn cotton bush. So will it work now? That's my question. That is what is the $1 million question to ask. Okay. Shock me. If this is gonna work, I'm gonna laugh so hard. Yeah, this bush would unfortunately fall. No, it's still underneath. Okay, it's still working. Okay. Fudge! Why in the hell do you have to keep doing this bullshit? I simply refuse to, like, delete the whole damn blueprint. Theoretically, we can just increase the height. If I understand this correctly. And we're gonna see if it's gonna work out this time, or if I'm just gonna say F it, and that's it. Alrighty! Nice! We're finally there! Finally! And the funniest thing is, actually, I've been so pissed off with this whole damn thing. I'm just gonna connect the water pipes and go down the hill. Well, I cannot even do that. Do I need to build another well? I'm still gonna require water pipes, actually, so it doesn't really matter. It did not change anything. So can you please be so kind as to provide me with the resources? And I'm gonna need a forester here. So that this is much more efficient production facility number dos. So we are gonna go with the wood production, and you guys can simply fudge off, and this is gonna just supply this building like so. This is the raw resource. And therefore you two can be deleted for the time being. And so we are moving forward. We do have 1,200 money. We have 800 something red coins. We have 16 out of 18 houses. We have 54 out of 68 workers. We are storing stuff inside, such as tomatoes, milk. We do have even some cotton. We can upgrade the house further once we reach even more happiness and everything. But our next goal is going to be to gain access to stuff such as kitchen. And it seems that our overall production of books is somehow suffering here. What is happening there? We are producing cotton. We would need to create a conveyor belt to connect it to this thing over here. Yeah, I know what you think. Another conveyor belt. Oh my god, what's gonna happen now? I think that's gonna be like the last crazy idea which I'm gonna try to pull off over here on this episode. Because otherwise, we are gonna spend a whole new year in here. So how about we do just this, and we would to simply remove these two fellas from doing this work. And we are just simply gonna connect this crate over here, and we are gonna delete this crate over here. You can be gone, and you, my dear friend, can be gone. So this is gonna be automatically supplied. We're gonna increase the amount of people working here. And theoretically, if we really want to screw with it, we don't even need to rely on this crate. The crazy thing about the supply here is that we can just simply extend the conveyor belt, try to elevate it even further, so that once again we are going above this passage and try to connect it to here. Or simply we can just do another workshop over here, which is going to be, I think, a bit easier. So workshop can be connected like so, and the conveyor belt can just simply continue its path over like here. We can make cloth out of the cotton, and theoretically, if we are gonna produce wool out of here, we can even supply wool from this pasture over to this building in order to create even more cotton, and then we can create books. Leather. For leather production, we would actually require 4 animal feed and 4 water. So theoretically, there's even the capability of us doing that, but I feel that maybe having a separate pasture for that purpose would be a bit more productive. And now the question is, if we would be somehow able to... Huh. This works if it's actually working properly, but unfortunately it's not working properly. We can theoretically go into planting. And there should be a possibility for us to plant even trees, I think. You can replace resources, you can plant stuff, you can plant trees. It's gonna take forever, but I'm a sucker for these types of things. So we're gonna see tree planter, if it's gonna actually work out or if it's gonna totally blow up in my mind. Don't have experience with this as of yet. So the overall goal here is to either provide the cloth over here, because we don't have access to the cotton. So theoretically what I might do is just grab a cart and pick up the linen and drop it off in here. And once we have that addressed, it's going to allow us to create books and provide that for the research. We do have a cart which is currently not doing anything. Why aren't you doing anything? Pick up this and go drop it off. And you are still carrying these planks manually? Why are you doing that, my dear friend? I do wonder. Let's delete you for now. And what are you doing here? Linen is being delivered, wooden conveyor belts are being made. Books would be awesome if they can be made, so now they are prioritizing making books. They get delivered to the school. And so yeah, I think we're gonna cut it off over here at this episode. You can already see the madness that is in my mind, that I'm trying to create this monster. And we're gonna see how it works out. So if you want to see more Factory Town, do let me know. If you have advice for me or any potential tips video which you would like me to look over, which might help me understand some of these pickles, then definitely do let me know. I'm gonna be more than happy to check it out. And if you want to see more fun content such as this, as I publish videos on a weekly basis, and you're shockingly still watching, then make sure to check out the playlist in the video's description or at the end of the video, or hell, even make sure to subscribe. And I'm gonna wish you a pleasant rest of the day, and hopefully I will see you all at the next one. Thank you for watching, everyone. Stay safe out there, and bye-bye for now. And I cannot believe I actually managed to pull this thing off. So freaking weird. Do we have those damn water pipes?